The new season starts on June 13th, and they're dropping 3 episodes to kickstart the season. We will be here for your weekly breakdowns and bring you everything from the comfort of your home. Now, just for some background info, Homelanders are on trial at the moment due to the end of Season 3. The social media accounts have been keeping us up to date at no price for guessing what this is playing off of. I will try and keep my personal politics out of the video cause I'm sure my American viewers don't want me lecturing you on politics. Anyway, we begin at the boys' base, the Flatiron, which was also their headquarters in the comics. Here we find a remorseful Billy Butcher who's now looking back on his life. Just in case you don't know, the guy's been given a death sentence, and this was after his overuse of V24. That's given him about 18 months to live, and now he's here reflecting on his life. The latter years of it were about taking down the Supes, and now he wants to go out with a bang. I think Butch is someone who's always stood up to bullies, and this calls all the way back to his childhood. His brother was brutally abused by his dad, and now he's seeing Ryan being led by someone like that. To make matters worse, it seems to be working with Ryan going to Homelander instead of him. I think this season it'll be father versus father, with the Supe for Ryan being what this battleground is for. Throughout the teaser, it looks like Ree's going down a dark path, but I do get the feeling that he sees the wrong within it. Eric Keese compares the situation to the sitcom My Two Dads, and huge shouts to Kidder for compiling some info about this and talking about it every time he's touched upon it in an interview. They stated that CRYP views Butcher and Homelander his parallels, stating he considers their relationship like Batman and the Joker. He said that aside from a deep personal hatred, there lies in an intimate understanding of one another, with stakes rising as Ryan grows up. He said these two men have much more in common than they like to admit, and Have Stay of the next season will also focus on the rise of Victorian Newman. He has spoiled things and said that she's morally great soup in the White House, so we do kind of know where things will be going with her character. Still, though, I think Ryan's going to be the hot of it, and after he kills that guy I believe he's going to have a change of heart. Billy isn't going to take it lying down, and the chance that he could go either way, so I think he's going to focus on trying to get Ryan back. Billy regrets the messes that he's made and how he doesn't have time to fix them. Zooming in on his head, we see the stress that V24 is caused, but I do think that he's still going to use it. Not like he's dying anyway, and I believe this is how he'll fight Black Noir. Now from here, we see a Homelander who sat by himself. To me, it perfectly paints out the two sides, as Billy's with his friends whereas he has no one. I think Homelander really has a tragic side to him, as the guy never really had a family. Raised in a lab and then brought into a corporation, his entire life he's been told that he's a god. Not trying to sound sympathetic, but in the end, this has left him truly alone. This is what these two opposing shots show Billy as people who will always be there for him. Cutting to a shot of his friends, we see Mother's Milk wearing a black sheep sweater, carrying on the notion of him wearing hip-hop related clothing. Now, while Billy has friends and Homelander doesn't, what Homelander has is his followers. Followers are something that these days we associate with social media, but back in the day it had a much more mythical sense. You know, Jesus' religious figures had people that follow them, and Homelander wants to weaponize this feeling. He says that he wants them to become like gods, and this is the only way to be above the law. I don't even think the trial for Homelander has any worth, as he's basically someone that is completely above humanity. They couldn't detain him or hold him in place, and he truly is a Superman who can't be held down. His actions have divided the country, and we cut to a protest between the two sides. One side is the stall leaders, and they're packing a poster that plays off the classic Resist one. Others say Homeland is a fascist, and just say no. As we pull out, we can see one that says jail time when it's going down outside the New York County Courthouse. This is obviously the scene of Homeland and his trial, with his supporters then breaking out into a fight. Going back to that opening of Homie in his room, this is a similar thing to what we got at the start of the Season 3 trailer. Every time focus is given to Homelander's back, you know obviously you're going to think about the American flag. The season is going to clearly be a battle for the country, and during an election year you can see a lot of political illusions. And we also see the body of someone which I'm guessing might be one of the human political figures that gets tied up. This includes Cameron Coleman, who we see is being gagged with the Deep behind him. He does run propaganda for the group, and I'm a bit surprised that they're holding him captive. Potentially, though, he's had a change of heart, or they want to threaten him by controlling the message further. You also see the return of Senator Calhoun, who was a minor figure during Season 1. He got a little too close to another Supes, and this was used as blackmail material. I think they'll be doing something similar here and using him as a way to get power. I really believe that Homelander will run for president, and that will be the direction that they take things. Well, the posters seem like they are election rally posters, and yet this is backed up in the very next shot. Cutting to one of his rallies, we then see the new Supes coming out on stage. They are Firecracker and Sister Sage. Neither appears in the comics, so no real predictions for where we can go with it. However, when discussing the pair, KPY said the following: "These Supes are some of the best and craziest ever written for the boys. You are going to love them, and by love I mean be absolutely horrified and a tiny bit nauseous. Welcome to the family, you guys." Now Black Noir has also returned, and we've done a big breakdown thinking about why this could be. I do think he might be reanimated, and this is something that happens in the comics. There are zombie Supes in there, and that's due to the Compound V overcharging their systems. Upon death, it fires up their brains and they then reanimate and come back to life. Also, you can tell the Honest Don't Work weekends can. I know you can. Anyway, it's possible that Sam from Gen V is behind him too, which seems to be the most popular theory. He is returning along with Kay, and it's great seeing them regretting a spin-off show so much. Really feels like that was The Boys Season 3. 5, and yeah, I loved seeing those characters popping up here. Now, if for whatever reason you haven't seen that show, I'm going to spoil the ending, so duck out the video in case you don't want to know. You still hear well that show had a virus being developed in the school that attached itself to the cells of Compound V, and in the end it only targeted Supes, completely killing them. This could wipe them all out, and we end with Butcher coming across the experiments. Just before that, we had Homelander watching things fall into place, and this was after he'd arrived at the school and apprehended our heroes. They were going to take the fall for what had been a massacre, with him watching from V Tower as the messages piled in. Now sadly Chan PMO passed away, which I'm sure you guys are aware of, and they were meant to be filming Season 2 of Gen V right about now. I think that has been pushed back. We don't know how they're going to handle it, and unfortunately that's been delayed, and we'll see how they kind of integrate things further down the line. Either way, extremely sad news, and from this point Ashley witnesses the murders, and I think she's going to start having questions. Alongside Ashley, she might realize she's let the monster out of the box, and there's no way that she can now control the Seven. The CIA is clearly amping up the interest too, as at this point we see Jeffrey De Morgan. It's being said he's playing an agent, though I don't believe we know the character's name just yet. Now I am wondering if he is going to be based around galleries from the comics. I know the show had the character, but they gender swapped him there, and this could be her ex-husband or something along those lines. This is something I was touched upon in the comics, with Homelander starting a Supe uprising. Storming the White House, he tried to take over, and he saw his kind as being the master race. The only way to beat him with the virus, and we see Billy and Cole then going to a lab. You also know they're doing experiments with Compound V, as later in the trailer we see that chicken chest burster. In my reaction video, I did wonder if this was a Supe chicken, cause they had the alpaca called Sloan and Gen V. Due to the crazy sheep later on, though, I think it's just animal experiments, and they may be doing one of two things. That's the humans potentially finding a way to make the virus more deadly, or maybe the Supes trying to find a way to counter it. Either way, it's all going down, and we know Black and White will fight Butcher at the Flatiron. Cutting to a wide shot of it, we see Singer and Human election campaign posters highlighting that they're rolling out in full force. We also see one, I believe, for V on Ice, which we of course see later in the teaser. Anyway, Black Noir is busting him up, and war is announced on the Starlights by Firecracker. Going to get some girl-on-girl action, and it looks like she's finally met her match. I'm guessing their powers are similar too, with their powers potentially being based on light. Firecracker makes me think it might be some Johnny Storm thing, and let me know below exactly what you think. However, it might be that she's a Punisher-like figure, as we do see her firing a pistol later. Looking at you, a Train, who's clearly also dealing with the fact that bad things are happening. I love the character and can't wait to see the AR he goes on, as he genuinely seems to have grown as a person. The first thing we saw him do was basically kill Robin, but now he's grown and seems like he wants to take some responsibility. Cutting to a hospital, we see someone draped in blood, and it looks like they've stepped right out of a horror movie. We also see a believed poster for Homelander, and their bloody footprints all along the floor. No idea what's going on here, but a long shot here it might be tied into the reanimation thing that we talked about before. We then see Card at T.I. Duck Factory smashing someone like the like button. Bubbles pop out of their heads, and I think this might be a fantasy like the musicals in Season 3. Returning though is a guy Stretch Armstrong from the Believe Expo who gave a new meaning to the phrase "come to Jesus." There it was Ezekiel who we see getting his arm frozen and smashed off. Religion is becoming a big thing that's tied into politics, with it often being weaponized so followers side with certain sides. I think in Season 1 that's what that section was for, with it showing that there are darker sides to faith. Who says that they need to start acting human in order to win, and get some clips as the trailer ramps up. We do have a Soup also ripping off their own phase, and I am a bit curious about what this is. Don't think I can show it on YouTube cause man, I'm getting demonetized for showing blood for a split second, but yeah, that's got me thinking it might be a playoff Deadpool.